Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. This is the State of the Sound Union. I am, of course, Andy Sins, and I'm about to fly a bias blimp right into your airspace in the form of a record review. One of my absolute favorite bands of all time. The pillars of my interest in punk rock is the Bouncing Souls. And so today, I'm pretty darn stoked to be talking about a new Souls record. They released their 13th studio album called Born to Be on Friday, June the 26th, 2022. They did that on their own independent thing. That's right, this is a self-released record from the Souls. I was very much looking forward to this one. I think it's fair to say the Souls, they have their own signature sound, and that can kind of be attributed to each individual member. Both Brian and Pete can often be seen with the same instrument that they've played for years, right? You got Pete with his Les Paul, you got Brian with his Fender P-Bass. Actually, you might play a jazz bass. Anyway, again, as I've said before, union issues with our research team. Brian's got that nasally, gooey sounding bass tone. I think like that bass tone is part of what made me fall in love with that tone in the first place, in all honesty. And Pete's kind of got that fuzzy sort of classic tone to it, and all that shines through on Born to Be as usual. Greg, he's got this like resonating pitch. It's easily recognizable. I think anybody who's a fan of the Bouncing Souls can hear his voice and kind of pick it out right away. Lately, I think on the last couple records, it's kind of been produced with this sort of like classic or like older radio sound to it, which I think is really friggin' cool too. And I think it's probably fair to say that George knows what he's doing on the kit, right? I'd certainly say. And you got those signature backing vocals from Brian and Pete too. Maybe different melodies at times, obviously, but it's unmistakable. I did have really high hopes for this record, especially given the singles that have been released. I was not at all disappointed. I gotta say, I wasn't necessarily astounded either, but you can't take anything away from this band. These guys have been doing it for almost 40 years now. Almost 40 years. God damn, congrats to those boys. And some things that stood out for me in terms of songs. I really enjoyed The Light. It's just a great opener. The Bouncing Souls have this knack for instilling hope and inspiration, and I think this is that. They've always got a few songs that are just like, God damn, I feel good, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Power. This sounds like it belonged on How I Spent My Summer Vacation, and given that How I Spent My Summer Vacation is my all-time favorite Bouncing Souls record, it was a no-brainer that I fell in love with this track. Also, Asshole Friends, there's a cool sort of classic rock sounding guitar solo in this from Pete. The lyrics are great, humorous, which the Bouncing Souls also, humorous at times I should say, which the Bouncing Souls also are incredibly talented at doing, and it kind of sounded like the self-titled hopeless romantic era, which is also great. I have to share my excitement because I am looking forward to seeing these guys in concert in December with a couple of my other go-to bands. So we'll see them in December in Toronto. All in all, this was a really enjoyable release. It's great to see these guys still doing it. It's great to see that they're still putting out quality music. They're definitely evolving, but another one of these bands that just stay true to what they are and what they've been effectively, which I think I've said on the channel before is something that I think is both important. I mean, at times, right? There's there's room for everybody, shall we say, as long as it's cool with me, as long as my biased ass interpretation accepts that. Union voting incoming. The Bouncing Souls, Born to Be, released on June the 26th, 2026, is at a solid 3.5 out of 5 Union votes. I encourage you to check it out. Check out the whole Souls catalog. Check them out in the road. It really is a privilege and a pleasure to witness this stuff live. As always, gang, look out for each other, and thanks for coming. Take care.